Did you know that short bursts of stair climbing can significantly improve your cardiovascular fitness and leg strength? But most of us miss these benefits because we stop the moment we reach the top of the steps. The surprising part is that just one extra minute of stairs in your day can quietly strengthen your heart, your muscles, and your future mobility. Welcome to the Big Daddy's Big Tips podcast. Now, before we do anything else, I would like you to arrive here properly. Not just by listening, but by pausing. Because most of us move through our days on autopilot. We rush from one thing to the next, carrying responsibilities, expectations, and mental to-do lists that never really switch off. And when life feels full, the smallest decisions start happening without us even noticing. This podcast exists to slow that down, just for a few minutes each day. Not because life isn't busy, but because good decisions are much easier to make when you're present. This is a daily podcast for people who care about their future selves, people who sense that small changes could make life feel lighter, feel stronger, and feel more intentional, but who don't want another all or nothing plan that lasts for 1 week and then disappears. So, this podcast is not about hacks, it's not about punishing routines, it's certainly not about fixing yourself. It's about understanding how change really works. Because most people imagine their future is shaped in a few big moments, dramatic decisions, the new phases, the fresh starts. And whilst those moments do exist and they do matter, they are rare. What shapes life far more reliably are the ordinary days, the ones that repeat quietly over and over again, and it's on those days that momentum is built. Every single day, you make hundreds of small decisions. How you move, how much effort you apply, whether you stop when it's enough, whether you take one extra step. None of those feel important in isolation, but together they create ripple effects. Some ripples will make your life easier. They build strength, they build confidence, they build energy. Others quietly do the opposite. They allow things to soften, to weaken, or fade without you ever making a conscious choice. The challenge that many of us face is that ripples are subtle. You don't necessarily feel them straight away. You don't even necessarily notice them after a week or two, but over time, they add up. And one day you realize your body either feels stronger and more capable or more tired and more limited. And it can be hard to pinpoint exactly why. Where you are today is not just random. It's the result of the ripples you've been creating so far in your life. And that is not a judgment, it's an opportunity. Because if small decisions have shaped this version of your life, slightly better ones can shape the next version. And that is what daily wins are all about. They're not about intensity, not about perfection. They're about nudging the dial in the right direction. And this works best when your body is supported. I call this priming your vessel. When your vessel is active, when it's challenged, when it's used regularly, good decisions feel easier. Movement feels natural. Confidence grows quietly. When your vessel is underused, everything feels that little bit harder. You avoid the effort. You accept limits that don't actually need to be there, and you start to drift. This podcast exists to help you keep your vessel primed so that life feels more capable and less restrictive. And we do that by stacking small habits that improve our health, wealth, and happiness simultaneously, not separately, but together as one system. And every tip you hear from me is going to be deliberately small because small things are the repeatable things, and the repeatable things are the powerful things. So as we move into today's tip, remember this. You're not here to train harder. You're here to move just that little bit more in the right direction. So let's talk about today's tip. Today's tip is one of my favorites because it hides in plain sight. Today's tip is that when you reach the top of the stairs, you should go back down and then come up again. That's it. No gym, no equipment, no extra time blocked out of your diary, just one deliberate decision to stop at good enough and to push yourself that tiny bit further. Most people use stairs as transport, a means to an end. You climb them to get somewhere, and the moment you arrive, the effort stops. But stairs are one of the most powerful everyday tools that you have access to. Stair climbing is a form of resistance training. It strengthens your legs, your glutes, your hips, your core. It challenges your cardiovascular system. It improves your balance, your coordination, and it even improves your bone density. And when you add just one extra trip back down and up again, you double the stimulus without doubling the inconvenience. And that is where the magic happens. That second climb happens when your heart rate is already elevated, your muscles are already engaged, your body is already switched on, so the benefit of that extra minute is disproportionately high. You're not starting from zero again, you're building on momentum. And that is the key theme here. This tip turns something that you already do into a deliberate daily win. You don't need to find time to exercise. You don't need to change your clothes. You don't need motivation. You just need to decide that when you reach the top, you're not quite done yet. And here is why this matters over the long term. Because your leg strength is one of the strongest predictors of healthy aging. Strong legs support balance. They prevent falls. They protect joints. They maintain independence. Cardiovascular fitness also supports your heart health and your energy and your resilience. And both of these decline quietly when they're not being used. You see, most people don't lose strength because of one bad choice. They lose it because of thousands of missed opportunities to challenge their bodies just that little bit more over the years. So this tip captures one of those exact opportunities. So let's look at how this plays out over your health, wealth, and happiness. For your health, that extra stair climb strengthens your heart, your lungs, and your lower body. It supports bone density through impact and load. Over time, it improves stamina and balance and confidence in your movement. Strong legs and a strong heart reduce injury risk and they extend physical independence. As far as your wealth is concerned, physical capability affects productivity more than you realize. Stronger bodies mean fewer sick days. They mean more energy at work. They mean lower long-term healthcare costs. Maintaining mobility and fitness protects your earning potential and reduces future financial strain linked to health issues. As far as your happiness is concerned, feeling physically capable changes how you move through life. You feel more confident, more resilient, and more in control of your body. Small physical wins build self-belief, and that spills into other areas of life naturally. On top of that, there's also something subtle happening psychologically. Every time you choose to go back down and up again, you reinforce an identity. You become someone who does not stop at the first opportunity to rest. You become someone who quietly invests in themselves when no one is even watching. That identity compounds and it makes the next daily win that little bit easier and then the one after that. So let's keep it simple. Next time you reach the top of the stairs, pause, turn around, go back down, and then come up again. 1 minute, one decision, one ripple, and let the benefits quietly stack over time. So as we come towards the end of today's episode, let's slow it down once more because it's easy to hear something like this and then rush back into the day without letting it settle, but that is not what creates change. This is all about integration because real progress doesn't come from intensity, not pressure. It comes from consistency, and consistency only works when the actions you choose are realistic enough to live with on the ordinary days. You don't need to do everything. You don't need to train harder. You don't need to push through exhaustion. You just need to keep nudging yourself in a better direction. That is why daily wins matter so much, because every small promise you keep with yourself rebuilds trust, and trust changes how you show up, physically, mentally, and emotionally. If you'd like any support with that process, I'd always recommend getting your free copy of my Foundation Blueprint. It's not a challenge, it's not a program, it's just a simple structure that helps you notice your wins, helps you catch your drifts, and it helps you see how small actions are stacking across your health, wealth, and happiness. You can find it in the show notes on my website or via the link in my Instagram bio. So if today's tip has resonated, please consider sharing it with someone you think could benefit from a simple way to move more without overthinking it. Because sometimes the most effective changes are the easiest to overlook. So take this clarity with you, let it guide the next small decision that you make, because those small decisions are exactly where lasting change begins. I end each episode by asking you a question that you can answer in the comments below, and today's question is this. Knowing how powerful small bursts of movement can be, when could you add one extra trip down and back up the stairs again today to support your future strength and mobility? Have a think about it and let me know what springs to mind in the comments below. I would genuinely love to hear from you. Big love, Big Daddy.